Erev Tov, Rabotai. Somebody here in the Keilah, I don't remember who it was, but when we went outside, they asked me a good question. I want to talk to you about this a little bit. On Shabbat, there's always this issue where you're ripping something, you're opening something, and a lot of people know that you're not allowed to rip things on Shabbat, but the truth is, it's not always like that. It doesn't mean that you can't rip anything. It means that you have to know when it's allowed and when it's not allowed. So let me explain to you a little bit what I mean to say by that. For instance, let's say you taking a package, a carton of milk, right, or some kind of a drink, and you have to rip it to open it, right? You got to rip a little bit. So are you allowed to rip the milk to open it, to drink the milk? Is that allowed on Shabbat?
Yes.
It's allowed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why? The question is why? But you didn't we say you're not allowed to rip on Shabbat? So how is it allowed to do that? How is it? Of course it's allowed. Yeah, of course, But let's explain how that is, right? So the truth is, when the rabbi said that you're not allowed to rip on Shabbat, that means when you rip, you're making something from there. You're making something that you're going to use that. That's what it's talking about. So here also, when we open a carton of milk, whatever, some kind of a drink, we're using that, and now we're going to use that to pour from there. We're going to put it in the refrigerator for 2 weeks, until that'll finishes. So we are using it. So then how is it allowed? So the answer is like this, First of all, you're allowed to rip something when there's food inside or something you're going to use on Shabbat. This is allowed because you need to get to the food, So it's really... so then you're making a kli. That's the thing, You're making a kli. Because this carton is a kli now. It's a bottle for you to use, for 2 weeks, whatever. How is that allowed? So the answer is, that it's not really a kli, this thing. This bottle, this carton. You know why it's not called a kli? What's the reason why? The reason is because you're going to throw it away. It's not something permanent. It's not going to stay with you. So it's disposable, Once you finish it, you throw it away, that's it, right? So that's not really called a kli. A kli is something where it stays there, for a long time, permanently, but this is going to be put in the garbage.
For your own use.
Yeah.
In this case, you just open in a mouth, so you can use it to pour milk in a glass.
Of course, yeah, but what about the carton? It's a kli, right?
You just open a little mouth. What's the big
Right, but so it's a kli. You're making a kli like that. So the answer is that since you're throwing it away, it's not really called a kli. It's disposable, But here's the thing. Now let me tell you something which is close to that. The Chazon Ish used to say, Chazon Ish was alive 100 years ago. He passed away like after World War II, in the 50s, something like that. A long time ago. But he used to say like this, something interesting. Let's say you have a can, of pickles, or something like that, right? Or tuna fish. So he used to say, that if you want to open that on Shabbat, asur. Why? Because you're making a kli.
Because at that time, all the containers used to be from the glass.
It was metal.
No, it didn't.
It was metal. Talking about, the canister, can. You know what I'm talking about? A can. So he used to say, if you're opening the can on Shabbat, asur. Why? Because you're making a kli. So didn't we just say, right, that it's not like that? So how is it like that? So you know what the answer is? In the time of the Chazon Ish, things were different. What was the difference? The difference was that they used to keep those cans to use them for something. You know what they did with it? They used to keep that can and then put some nails in there, some things, and hold it in the house like this. Hold on to it. So it became a kli because they were not throwing it away. This is the reason why the Chazon Ish said you're not allowed to open a can. So he used to say like this, if you want to open a can on Shabbat, some pickles or whatever it is, right, what you got to do is banka, right? So what you got to do is first make a hole on the bottom, make a hole, and then open it. Why? Because now it's not really clean anymore. It can't hold the stuff. It can't hold the liquid. You understand? But today, we don't have to do it like this. You don't have to make a hole in the bottom. You know why? Because when we use the can, what do? We throw it away. Right? It's not really clean. Again, same thing. You understand? So when you were throwing it away, you're not keeping it permanently. It's not called a kli.
It's making no sense. Why you want to make hole on the bottom? It's gonna liquid is gonna pour out from this.
That's the whole thing. So he's telling you, right, that if you don't make a hole, when you open it, you're making a kli, asur. Understand?
It's making no sense.
Makes no sense, but that's halacha. Halacha is, halacha is not your sense. It's the sense of Hashem. It's not your sense. You're not God. What do you think? You're God? It's not your sense. It's God's sense. That's what it is. You understand? So don't try to say make sense. You're doing kritika. In the halakha, you're not allowed to do that. Asur. Kritika. Makes sense. Doesn't make sense. We got this on Har Sinai. What does this matter? Makes sense. Doesn't make sense. Har Sinai. We have. You know how we. I want to tell you guys something, right? So you understand. With the melachot, there's 39 melachot on Shabbat. You're not allowed to do. 39 things. Where do we learn these things from? It's written in the Chumash. These melachot, 39 melachot. It's written. It's not written. It's not written there. The 39 melachot. Written maybe one or two. That's it. Don't light a fire, right? But doesn't. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And then it's Hashem finished mitzvah.
But it says in the Talmud.
Don't do keep my Shabbat.
It says in the Talmud that those melachot are not written in the Torah. So I don't know where you got this from. I don't know. You got some new Torah there. I don't know where you got this from. Maybe I'll tell you. Let me suggest something to you. You have to have derech eretz. Some kavod. You're talking too much. I'm giving the lecture. You're not giving the lecture. You understand? So you got to listen. They say the Chazal. Why did Hashem give you 2 ears and 1 mouth? You should listen more than you talk. That's the proper way to do it. Otherwise, you give you the lecture. Come up here and give the lecture yourself. That's not the way it is, right? That's not the way. Kavod, derech eretz. That's not the way. They say the Chazal, that when a person goes to a rabbi, to hear some divrei Torah, he's not allowed to ask more than 3 questions to the rabbi. 3 is maximum. You know why? It's not kavod. Every time, another question. There's not kavod. Yeah, all the time interrupting. It's not kavod. It's not proper kavod. 3 is maximum. And then you got to give a chance. It's gava. It's not good. You have to put the gava down a little bit. Gava has to come down. A little bit. That's the way it is. What can you do? That's the way it is. Hashem bless you. God bless you.
Can I help you?
Yes.
Can I? Now you give for the people the right or right. Maybe somebody doesn't understand what you're saying. You must give the question, right? The question, you must explain to me what's going on. The guy explain, give the question for you. You understand something? Give me answer. Explain to him.
Yeah, and we explained it, but the problem is he doesn't accept it. Is he thinks he knows better. That's no good. We explained it. That's the thing.
The lecture is not about me, please.
Right, I understand. But that's why I'm telling you exactly. I'm telling you, it's not about you. So don't talk so much. It's not about you. It's about the Torah. It's not about you, Boris. It's not about you. It's about Hashem. It's Hashem from Torah from Hashem. That's what it's all about. Okay, God Hashem bless you. God bless you. Anyway, let's continue. Right. So as we said, that depends what you're opening and what you're ripping. It depends. If you're going to throw it away, that's not really called. It's not really called that you're doing something. You're making a kli. So therefore, it's allowed to rip. Now, let's talk a little bit about opening a bottle, for soda, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, right? Are you allowed to open this bottle on Shabbat? To drink it? So the truth is, the Ashkenazim, some of the Ashkenazim, they're machmir. You know what they do? They open it before Shabbat. Erev Shabbat, they open it. Yeah, Why? Because they say, when you open it, you're making a kli. What kli? The kepka, you're making a kepka. Because you're ripping it like that, you're making a new kli. But the truth is, here also it's the same thing. This is going to go in the garbage. We're not keeping any of this stuff. Once you drink it, you're going to throw it away. So therefore, it's not kepka, it's not bottle, it's not nothing there. You understand? So therefore, it's allowed to open that. That's halakha. Halakha is like that. That's what Maran said. Okay, yeah.
So in other words, if you bring something and you throw it away, you could do it. That's what it is.
Exactly. Because it's not a kli, when you throw it away. It's disposable. It's something, you're going to throw it away. But the thing is, what about this now? Let's talk a little bit something which is close to this. What about ripping paper? Let's say, right, toilet paper. Are you allowed to rip toilet paper?
No.
What's the problem?
Depends how.
Depends how. Okay. So what's the problem? Why aren't you allowed to do it? Right. So he's right, and also you're right. So I'll explain to you how that is. The way it works is like this, right? That when you rip this, you want to use that, right? For something, right? To wipe yourself, you wipe your nose. I don't know, whatever. I don't want to talk too much, right, about that. What you're going to wipe. So You're using that. So the problem is when you're using it, that's why some poskim say, that you're not allowed to because you're using that thing. And you're ripping it to use it, so it's like you're making it clean. But the truth is that on the other side, there are some poskim who say that because you're going to throw it away, it's okay. What are you going to do? Keep it? Or this toilet paper? What are you going to keep it for a souvenir? You know what I mean? No, you're throwing it away. So some poskim say it's allowed, but the truth is, the minhag is, when it comes to toilet paper, we don't rip it on Shabbat. But the truth is, let's say a person, you know what we do, right? Religious people, we buy for Shabbat, we buy the tissues, which are already ripped. You know what I mean? They're already ripped, the tissues, like we have over here, right? Napkins, tissues, they're already ripped, so we don't have to rip it for Shabbat, right? That's what we do. But let's say a person forgot, to buy this tissue, doesn't have any, so he's not going to go to the rabbi and tell him, Rabbi, give me from the shul, he's embarrassed to do that, right? It's not kavod, Well, the rabbi has to be your supplier, your supermarket over here, right? You gotta buy it yourself,
You're supposed to give it to Rabbi.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, right? So therefore, right, if a person forgot, to buy the tissues, so what do you do? How do you do it on Shabbat if you want to use toilet paper? So what you do is like this, you can do it with a shinui. You know what that means? A different way, something a little bit different. What does that mean different? Instead of ripping it the normal way, with your hand, do it with your mouth, like this. Use your teeth, abnormal way, shinui. We allow you to do that. And what's the reason why we allow you to do that? Because when you do something in the abnormal way, it becomes mutar. Even though the normal way it's not mutar. Sometimes it becomes mutar. That's the way it is, So therefore, if you forgot to buy the tissues, you got to do it the abnormal way, something not normal. This is the way to do it. Why? Because there are some poskim who say that it's allowed to do even the normal way. But since we're going to be machmir, the minhag is to be machmir about this, and to do it, and not to do it, so therefore if you want to do it, and you have no choice, do abnormal way. This is the way, shinui. That's what it's called. You're allowed to do it this way.
And question, Rabbi. If I'm on the vacation in Shabbat, and I'm living for 45th floor in the hotel,
Oh boy.
can I do abnormal method to click the button to go up, or I can walk?
Yeah, very good question what he's asking over here, right? So the truth is, that when I was at the shul over there, one of the gabayim over there asked me this question. You know what happened? I'll tell you. He got older, and he can't go down the stairs. He's too old. He's sick, whatever. He's too weak, he can't go. So he told me like this. He says, I can't go down the stairs. I have to come to the shul. I'm working at the shul. That's his job, He has to come. There's no choice, So he said, if there's no goy, to tell him to do it, to press the button, can I, what do I do? That was the question. Exactly your question. Same thing, right? Same thing. So I told him, do it with a shinui. Exactly right what you asked. Right? Abnormal way. What's abnormal? Do it with your elbow, Something like that, right? Or, if you're karatist, do it with your foot, karatist, Chuch, whatever, right? Whatever you like to do, the abnormal way. That's the way you do it. Why? Because pressing the button on the elevator is really not from the Torah, this prohibition. It's from the rabbis, Isur de Rabbanan. So therefore, you're allowed to do it with a shinui, when there's no goy especially, there's no goy to help you. So you're allowed to do it with a shinui. Okay, Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen ve'Amen. Rabbi Chanan Kashomer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לעזור לישראל, לפיכך אפילו בעל אין תורה ומצוות שנאמר לא יחפץ, למען צדקו יגדיר תורה וידיר.